I'm so happy because every Thursday I get a chance to touch base with Johanse Iodike, behavioral change specialist for our mental health matters. It's a learning curve for myself, for you, for everyone. Very impactful conversations. And today, Thursday, we beg to ask a question and we employ parents to do your research. I will let Johanse elaborate. Good morning, Johanse. Welcome.
Good morning, Jason, and good morning to everyone viewing. Now, that word research, right? Re meaning to do again, and search meaning to put effort into finding something. That means you have to do it over and over. And when it comes to your children, and we're talking to parents, we're talking to guardians, we're talking to leaders, etc. When it comes to your children, do your research. Meaning, because you think you know your child, doesn't mean you just stop there. If your child say they don't have homework, check and see. Even if they say they have homework, check and see again. Tell me your thoughts so far.
Of course, fully understood, and I think it's natural, but I think we find ourselves in a ticklish place when we start to go into that in-depth research where some parents, and again, you could tell me if it's a right or a wrong move. I mean, there's no particular law book or no framework on parenting, but for parents to go through their child's phone or journal, reading the child's thoughts or going into their conversations, is that kind of research welcome? What's your take and recommendation in that regard?
If parents decide to go through quote unquote their children's personal items,
because that's research, the parent probably in their mind are doing research.
Yes, I think, and some parents I know do this. They tell the child, your phone is not yours. Even though you think it's yours, I still have full rights to go through it. So at least give the child a disclaimer, because let's just say the disclaimer wasn't given and you do your research. It could cause a rift between you and your child. So you wouldn't want that, but give them that disclaimer beforehand, because it's important for parents to know exactly what's going on with their children. And this morning I'm doing this topic because I had a conversation with a few parents, and the way they spoke about their child, like it wasn't a child. Like the child had so much autonomy, and I don't want to go in his business or her business. And then when things fall apart or things fall wrong, they wondering, well, I didn't know, and I was giving him or her their space, but it was to their detriment.
Understood. You think some parents probably a bit afraid, they see the child as this perpetual baby, this symbol of innocence, and obviously a child at 5 months is different to a child at 5 years, it's different to a child at 15. But the child at 15 who is coming into their own as a teenager and obviously having their own thoughts and feelings and emotions, sometimes a parent might see the child still as a 5-year-old, and for some parents, they're not going to do research because they really don't want to know what this child is up to. They will forever see the child as their baby. Is that probably a reason you feel you want to say?
Yes, that's a reason, and I'm glad you raised that, because many parents don't face the reality of their children, right? Because as you said, at 5 months is way different from 5 years, is way different from 15 years. Also, some parents have unresolved even emotions, trauma, issues with themselves and childhood. So when they see it in their children, they are afraid to face it and avoid it, which of course could perpetuate the cycle or even cause different kinds of damage.
So let me ask you now, because children, we were all teens, and I'm sure we could all relate to having multiple personalities. We'll be one way at home, one way at school with our friends, one way probably in lessons. We tend to adapt, and I don't know, some people actually take that into adulthood, but the reality is, isn't the best research just having that conversation and keeping a close bond with your child, so your child could be their authentic self in front of you?
That close bond you're referring to has to be something, one, based in truth. And I'm saying truth because sometimes we look at it as parent up here and child down here, which it is to a point, but it's also human to human. So like there are some parents who say, you're too young to experience stress. No child experience stress, which is not true. Stress, of course, is contextual to the situation in. So if you could talk to your child, not to say that you're letting your child do whatever they want, but saying, I know you had a stressful day, even in first year, you know your ABCs, I know you get in trouble with that, and understand that your child is a human just like you. You could relate to them on that one-to-one or one to how many ever children that you have.
Well, again, multiple children now. I mean, that in itself too would call for even more extensive research, because the research being conducted, probably the first child might be different for the second, might be different for the third. If a child might be sneaky. I mean, this is a real interesting topic here, because research, as you rightfully started off, definitely schoolwork is a great way to start and to ensure that you're on top of things. But what other aspects of the child's development and life we need to ensure we're on top of information and we have at least a research plan or some kind of method to stay connected and to stay in touch with the child?
We coming out of necessarily one-to-one parent-child relationship. Let's go something simple as I was speaking to two parents, and I remember for SCA choosing schools, you know that there are certain schools that are first choice, second choice, third choice, and I was like telling the parent, the school you're choosing for your child second choice is a first choice school, and if they pass for it, they may not get it if they get the second choice grades. And its parent was like, no, that is my first choice, and not understanding exactly how choosing schools, that methodology works. So I'm saying that because I told the parent, do your research, make sure you're doing the right thing for your child. So in every aspect of your child, understanding whether it is his schooling, whether it is their personality, whether it is what's going on in their social media accounts and in their phones, consistently do the research, because what you think may be the truth or your truth may not be.
So really quick, because we have to wrap things up, but as you mentioned, social media. Okay, I'm doing research. I recognize I'm watching my child's social media account. Let's say you're watching your daughter's account, your son's account, and the performance via the social media is left, it leaves much to be desired. The twerking, they're doing something that kind of a little too suggestive for their age. Based on your research, what do we do at that point?
Shut it down. Shut it down immediately. Find out why. Even do some research into yourself, because a child is a product of a parent. So if your child doing something that you don't like, it's probably something that you may miss, and not necessarily because he was delinquent, but maybe there was a gap, maybe there was a certain question you may have needed to ask, or maybe doing a little more research.
Yeah, Johan, we'll have to continue this one next time. So far, great conversation. You be safe, have a great one, and I look forward to more next week.
Thank you very much, Jason.
That's right, Johan, IODK Mental Health Matters. We'll take a pause, we come back, because the whole conversation concerning our climate, the environment, a very important one, and we're going to put that information via the screen, details concerning the Island Action and Global Goals, full details after the break. We stand by.